All right, so we talked about the story of me, and 5 or 6 other guys starting a fraternity, and because we really didn't like any of the fraternities that we had on campus. Not trying to talk badly about any of them, but they were more focused on partying and just kind of that whole scene, and we wanted to do more than that. We're fine with having some parties and everything, but we wanted to be more than just that. So we started our own fraternity and got laughed out of the room every step of the way, got all of our posters torn down, got bad rumors spread about us, tried to have roadblocks were put in front of us at every step of the way. And in 1 year, we went from non-existent to the top fraternity in our college and the most money and 30 members. And by the time I graduated a couple years later, we had the most members in campus history. I think we were one of the top houses in the Midwest, really just all sorts of good stuff. So the reason that I told that story was because I initially started out like the idea of a fraternity, but as I went along, none of them really fit what I was looking for. And I was making the decision to join one that was sort of like the least worst one. And that's not a way to make a decision. And my takeaway looking back on that, my lesson, is that I was so close to sacrificing my principles just to fit in with a group of people that I didn't even know. So like I wasn't even sure that I liked these people, but I was enamored with the wanting to be accepted. And, you know, I'm an only child coming from a small town in the Midwest, going to college, big, scary college, even though it was a small college. I didn't really know anybody. I didn't have any friends. And to have that experience and to be so close to making a decision that, you know, not necessarily would have been life-changing, but I don't think it would have helped propel my life forward. But it was because I was so ready just to say yes to be accepted that I was willing to sacrifice my principles, things I knew I didn't agree with, behavior I didn't like, expectations I wasn't okay meeting, just to fit in. So the advice that the lesson that I learned was not to sacrifice your principles, not to sacrifice my principles, just in order to be accepted or just to get some version of a result that you want. And what we ended up doing was something way, way better instead. And I've had that experience in my life so many times where I was so eager just to be accepted, just to be liked, just to be part of the group, just to go along with something, that I was willing to compromise my principles. I was willing to sacrifice things that I didn't agree with, but just because I wanted the positive feedback, the positive affirmation, the positivity loop of being accepted, being liked. And I think that's something we probably can all relate to, whether it's at work or maybe with a past or current relationship or past or current friends. And if you look around and as you get older, you start to kind of prune the tree of your life and you start to try to get rid of excess things and friends that don't really have any commonality with anymore, or people that don't move you forward or bring your life up or challenge you in a good way. Or at work, at some point, if you're able to kind of make a differentiation between, hey, I'm going to go do something else, or I'm going to, take this role or take that role, and you're trying to move yourself forward, and you finally kind of stand up for your own principles. So the valuable lesson I learned was, do not be willing to sacrifice your principles just to go along with something.